Welcome back to another video. Today I just wanted to share with you all some of the reasons why I personally enjoy watching English dubbed anime, and also some of the situations where I would actually prefer to watch it over the Japanese audio and the subtitle. And before I get into the video, I just wanted to clarify for those of you out there who just so happen to be seeing this channel for the first time with this video, I'm personally a strong believer in the fact that if you're only watching dubbed anime, then you are heavily limiting your anime watching experience, because there are so many great shows out there which just don't have a dub to them, and you just gotta read the subtitles. And there's really nothing wrong with doing either way, but you need a mixture in order to maximize your enjoyment of the medium. And also, like, even with DVDs and Blu Rays, like, there are many of them that I own which don't have a dub to them, and you still gotta read the subtitles. So I think having a mixture of both is a great way to maximize your personal enjoyment in the medium of anime. So starting off at number 10, this is going to be the easiest one of the entire list, a total no-brainer. Number 10 is I like to watch English dubs because that's how I started watching anime, and I think this is going to be the same way for many people watching this video, unless you either got into anime really recently with the internet, and because, you know, there's so many streams of the current seasonal anime out there which is only subtitled, or if you got into anime like in the early 80s when the only things available were the bootlegs and nobody was dubbing it back then. So for me, that's how I got into it, and just an extra step into my backstory and why dubs don't really bother me that much is because I grew up watching the terrible dubs of kung fu movies. I don't know if you ever watched like really old kung fu movies in the dub, but they are just like nails across a chalkboard. They are so terrible to listen to, and when you're watching it on VHS, you don't have any choice. I would love to find some of those on YouTube, but there's just a thing about using dubs in videos. I always get my videos flagged down or blocked worldwide or something like that whenever I use dubs, so I'm just going to avoid it. As you notice, I do that in some of the reviews too. Now, number 9 is when I'm watching dubbed anime, I'm allowed to multitask, but of course, whenever I'm watching something specifically for a review, I don't multitask because I know I gotta pay attention and just like learn everything that I can about the series in my time of watching it. So I don't like to multitask when I work on reviews, but sometimes I just like to watch anime and just relax. It's so much fun. I can just pop in something that maybe I've seen before, maybe I just don't care about making a review for it. I pop it in, I sit down, I'm texting, I'm eating, I'm cooking, I'm playing a video game on the other computer, and I'm just listening to it and occasionally like glancing over to it, and it's just a really relaxing thing to do that. And I think if you refuse to watch anime dubs, it's just something that you are really keeping yourself from, because you could be watching anime while you're playing a video game, and it's just fun to multitask like that. It's just something that I like to do. So number 8 is something which I feel is guaranteed to upset a few people watching this video right now, but whenever you're watching dubbed anime, you don't have to listen to any of the super high-pitched, really squeaky, air siren-like voices that some of the voice actors have. Not all, of course, but just some. A good example of this is actually Goku in the Japanese version, because he's actually voiced by a woman, especially in Dragon Ball Z when he's doing the Kamehamehas, and it's just so squeaky and high-pitched, it really just hurts my ears, and I just can't listen to that. And sometimes when I turn an anime on, especially one where like all of the characters are either teens or little kids, they all do the super squeaky voices for them, and I just can't deal with it. It's just grating on my ears, and I just can't do it. I have to watch it in dub because it gives me a headache. Number 7 is when you're watching a dubbed anime and the dub is really good, because sometimes there are dubs out there which are really good, and I'll be honest with you, a lot of them are just okay, and there are reasons why I still like to watch the okay dubs, which I will discuss later in this video. But if there's a really good dub and the anime is also really good, then that heightens the overall experience. Kind of like a really good example of this is Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. Both good shows, and they both have really good dubs, and I feel like if you're watching something in your native language and it's a really good dub, then that's going to make you enjoy it more, because you're able to focus and put more attention onto everything that's happening on screen than to have to just detract a little bit of your attention to read whatever's going on at the bottom. So I feel like it makes it so much more enjoyable, and reading subtitles is not anything that is hard to do, honestly. I know for some people, if you're just starting out with the subs, then it might be hard for you. You just got to get used to it, but I like, one of my favorite anime series, as an example, is Legend of the Galactic Heroes, which has so much dialogue in it, and it's subtitle only. It probably has more dialogue in the 100-some episodes that it has than One Piece does as like the current episodes. So there's just so much dialogue in this, and sometimes I felt like I was just being pummeled over the head with words at the bottom of the screen. There's just so much to read there. It was a really dense show, and I feel like if there was a really good English dub with this that was able to pronounce all of the German words and everything that they use in the show, then it would have really like heightened my overall experience, which I don't even know if that's possible because it is a really good show. Number 6 deals with the total opposite of number 7, is whenever you're watching an anime and the dub is really, really bad, it's optional. I don't think I've ever seen a situation where you are forced to watch the dub of an anime. If you're watching it on DVD, if you're watching it on a streaming site, if you're watching it like Netflix, for example, you have options to change the voice acting. Of course, there are some situations like I explained earlier, like if you're watching it on VHS, for example, then you really don't have a choice, but people don't really watch VHS anymore, and you always have the option to switch back to subtitle if you're listening to a dub that you don't like. Number 5 is English dubs allow anime to be exposed to more people, and more people get into anime with the English dubs because it's easier for new anime fans to sit there and watch it with their native language than it is for them to have to get used to reading the subtitles at the bottom of the screen. So the more people that get into anime, the better. Now, number 4 is something that is really important to me, but I don't think many of you guys would be able to relate with this, because whenever I'm watching a show that is either really bad or something that I just don't want to watch, having an English dub makes it so much easier for me to watch it, because like I don't want to sit there and look at every single second of it. I don't want to have to read all the words of a show that is either bad or that I don't want to watch. And I know many of you guys, if you come across shows that are like this, you just don't watch it. You turn it off or something like that. But sometimes I don't have that option. Sometimes I have to review a show which I either don't want to watch or is really bad, and the dub really helps out with that. So number 3 directly relates with a lot of the negative reputation that anime dubs get, especially with the English dubs, because for the most part, a lot of them weren't really that great. Like if you look in the 80s or the 90s or even in the 2000s, sometimes you'll find dubs which just aren't any good. But the great thing about that is that it's always improving. Anime hasn't been so popular in the West for so long like that for us to have seasoned voice actors that are just doing all these anime right now. So the more popular that anime gets, we're going to be getting more voice actors because there's going to be more series which are licensed, so you can't have the same people voicing every single show. So there's going to be competition, there's going to be more experiences for these voice actors to get, so they're going to be better at their job. And one example that you could see of voice actors improving over time is within One Piece, because it's a really long show, specifically One Piece, because they were dubbing it in the beginning. I'm not talking about the 4Kids dub, by the way, but they were dubbing it in the beginning, and then they stopped licensing it for a while, and then they brought it back, and they got the same voice actors back for the most part, and you could see how there's like a dramatic improvement in the quality of the lines that we're getting from some of these voice actors here. So there's definitely a lot of improvement that has been made since the 80s up until now, and it's not as bad as a lot of people may say. Now, number 2 kind of goes along the same lines as one of my previous points in terms of multitasking while you're watching anime, because sometimes I'll be sick or have a really bad headache and I just want to lay down with my eyes shut, and I don't really like to listen to a whole lot of music, but I don't like to hear the silence either, so I will just turn an anime on, and because it's dubbed, I could actually listen to it and just kind of remember some of the things that are happening, because usually whenever I'm in that position, I will just watch or listen to something which I've already seen before, so like I'm envisioning everything that's happening in my head while I'm listening to the lines going on. It's usually like Detective Conan or like the early parts of One Piece or Dragon Ball or something like that, just timeless things which you can rewatch over and over again, for me anyways. So number 1, by the way, the list is really in no particular order, but 1 is a really good point, and it's also a scenario which I only want to watch dubbed. I don't really care about watching it subbed at all, but that is hentai, dubbed hentai. It is so funny, and it gets such a bad rep too because it's anime porn, therefore you must be getting some sort of sexual gratification out of it. I just think it is hilarious because they don't stick to the accurate translations. They just throw the script out the window and kind of just make it up as they go along. It's kind of like an abridged series, and sometimes where they do stick to the script, they will kind of just ad-lib some of the lines and just make it up as they go along in some certain situations. So you get some of the really crazy shows like Adventure Kid, like Bible Black. You get some of the other ones. What's a good one? A Time to Screw, like really, really funny hentai, and I think the dub makes them, because I've tried to watch hentai subbed, and I just can't get into it. It's just I don't know, it's just not fun for me. The English dubs make it really enjoyable, and also I would have to say there are shows like Shin-Chan, which kind of do the same thing where they just throw the script out the window, and also there's Ghost Stories as well, so it's along the same lines as that. If you're a fan of Shin-Chan, well, maybe not if you're a fan of Shin-Chan, but if you're a fan of Ghost Stories, then I would definitely recommend checking out some of the dubbed hentai, which I've mentioned here. So, anyways, what do you guys think about English dub? For those of you who really enjoy it, let me know why you personally enjoy it in the comment section below, because I know it gets a really bad rep, and I don't want people to think at the same time, while I'm making this video, that I'm against sub, because everyone knows that I really love subtitle anime as well, but I just feel like I needed to talk about dub specifically because there are a lot of people which will ask me like, Bob, why are you talking about the dubs in your review? So I just kind of wanted to address that real quick. So anyways, let me know why you may or may not enjoy dubbed anime in the comments section below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.